Lecture topic: Weighing of Deeds.
Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, his well-known statement, "Hasibu qabla an tuhasibu." Take an account of yourself before the time comes when your account will be taken. So the day will come when you're going to have to give an account of your deeds, what you are going to have to answer there. Think about it. So on a daily basis, this is a muhasabah. On a daily basis, take account of your deeds. So now the word count, it already brings to mind counting something. So it means the quantity must be right. There cannot be any deficiency in the quantity in terms of the obligations of deed. And then the quantity would also help in terms of more than what was the obligation. Person was obliged to perform the 5 farz salah, and then alongside goes the wajib, the sunnat muqtada. But then he did more than that also. He did the sunnat ghair muqtada, he did the nawafil. All this will obviously help, but it's not the end of it. One is taking an account of oneself, but then the next aspect he mentions, wazinu anfusakum qabla an tuzanu. Literally translated is weigh yourself before you are weighed. Now nobody is going to be weighed as a person, but on the day of Qiyamah his a'mal are going to be weighed. The scales are going to be set up and the deeds are going to be weighed. Now, this is a very significant aspect to always bear in mind, that the a'mal are going to be weighed. The count in terms of the obligations, that will obviously be necessary, but the a'mal will be weighed, and in weights sometimes something, the count might be lesser, meaning in terms of the optional deeds, but the weight might be very great. And sometimes the quantity can be a lot, but the weight can be very little. There are certain things which are very heavy in their very matter, in their essence. If you take steel, so a little bit of steel, and it might weigh a few kilos. And if you take cotton wool, that few kilos of cotton wool, you'll have to fill up few big bags of it. So now the quantity is huge, but the weight is nothing. So one is the counting, but in that, what is the quality? The quality is what's going to give it weight on the day of Qiyamah. So one is to just think that, well, I did it, I got done with what I was supposed to do, so now my job is done. So just merely the job is done by counting, that doesn't happen. You have to think about what's the level of the weight, how much weight is in that amal. The weight will depend on the quality in it. The quality starting off right from the niyat, what extent of ikhlas there is in it, and then together with it, how well was it performed. So to that extent, that weight will come in it. Often sometimes we appease ourselves that, well, I did this and I did that also and I did that also, but at the end of the day, is it going to weigh much? That's also something to reflect upon. And how much it will weigh will depend on all these aspects, the ikhlas in it, how closely to the Sunnah it was performed, and how well it was performed. So all these are things to keep checking, reflecting. Whatever amal we are doing, to remind ourselves before that I want this to be weighty on the day of Qiyamah. So how is it going to be weighty? Am I just going to get done with it haphazardly and think, well, I've done it? That's not going to bring that weight. So the quantity also is necessary, and the quality also is extremely important.
अल्लाह अल्लाह कैसा प्यारा नाम है, आशिकों का मीना और जाम है।